This one's from TYT Investigates. Do not let it be said that all TYT has gone to crap. It hasn't. The things outside the main show are still very, very good. And TYT Investigates is a shining example of what they could be again if they would get themselves right by getting themselves left and not abandoning trans folks. This is TYT Investigates showing a school board meeting wherein a 11-year-old girl had to set the whole community straight.
Here not to fight, but to make peace. I just want the space and acceptance to be me.
She's just a child, the same as everybody else. You know, she's not looking to hurt anybody else's children. And if they spent time with her, they would know her humanity. And they would just see, yes, you're just a normal, natural person too. So I'm here to address the board as the father of Allison Sitavanchai. She's been stirring up all the commotion and just trying to find acceptance. So we came here to respond to the chorus of disapproval that is trying to gain momentum to hinder acceptance from the larger community for my daughter. You know, one that if you've known her for her whole life, you'd know this is exactly who she's always been. It's never been any different. You know, and she doesn't have any charges of predation, of trying to circumvent privacy. There's no problem. So when she goes to use the bathroom, her friends that are girls say, well, I don't understand why you're using that other bathroom. You should just be using the bathroom with us. And we see patterns where the girls that typically have issues with her using the bathroom are the ones that have parents that have issues with her using the bathroom. And
So Republicans will be delighted to know they are successfully teaching a new generation to hate. There's that immaturity of mine. Let's try that again. So it might be a good idea to frequently remind the people who are out there preaching hate, especially the people who are out there preaching hate in schools, that this is who they are attacking. Literally, they're picking on little girls. That's where we've that is the point we've arrived at. I just want to say for the record, conservatives are the least masculine and the least feminine people I've ever seen. They're the least fully realized people I have ever seen. They exist in a very tender world, and if you don't agree to cosplay with them about their beliefs, they melt down in a childish tantrum. It's shocking to watch. Truth be told, I've only met conservatives in Ireland, Canada, and the United States, so I can't say this is true about the whole world. It's just true of every conservative I've met in 3 countries. If you are a young conservative out there and you signed on because you like Black Rifle coffee or whatever mascot they put on whatever box, just understand you're signing up to be one of the least respected human beings on earth. Because when normal people look at conservatives, what we see is the reality, which is a group of people who pick on little girls as a sport. Well, fortunately, in this generation, the little girls are smarter than most of the adults, and they're better spoken than most of the adults. And here's one who's about to put them in their place.
so if you'd like to, you can introduce yourself. Do you want to?
Hi, I'm Allison Sitavanchai, and I wrote this in my free time. Hello, fathers, daughters, mothers, and everybody else who came here today with fear, anger, and confusion. Free feelings that hurt inside badly. I came here not to fight, but to make peace. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to tell a story, an autobiography, if you may. Well, as far back as I can remember, I always chose dresses, makeup, wigs, and dolls. My first Halloween costume that I chose to do was a zombie vampire bride. So weird, right? Who thinks of that? Well, I did. I remember the first dress I wore was a pretty white gown. When I wore it, it felt special. Not like anything else. It was the best feeling. It felt like magic. When my loving mom first curled my hair and I looked in the mirror, I wanted to cry because I saw not the person I was supposed to be, but the person I am. Because when I imagine myself as a grown human, I see a woman dancing in a white dress through a meadow of flowers. And when I see that, I know that's who I am. And I just want the space and acceptance to be me. Thank you.
Okay, so we've heard
Thank you.
people talk.
Just real quick. Just to say this. Okay, great. Just to say this. She's not asking for much, is she? I just want the space and acceptance to be me. Really not a big ask. Another way to put it, when you're talking, and if you get a little angry like I do, and you lose the ability to be as mature as this 11-year-old girl, like I frequently do. Another way to put it is to say, don't bother them. Just quit bothering kids. How difficult is that? Don't bother kids. Don't bother teachers. If you don't know what's going on, and all conservatives don't know what's going on, they have no grasp of reality. Don't bother people. Now, they can look out for their own rights because they understand themselves. They know if their land is being taken or if somebody is kicking in their door to harass them in their homes. They know that. They can worry about that. That's never really happened to conservatives. They participate in politics as sport. They don't do it because they have any sort of understanding of what is happening around them, and they don't really feel consequences in the short term for these things. At least not in a way that they are aware of. For example, they have no idea what caused the East Palestine train derailment. Conservatives, they just don't know because it was Trump. Trump caused it, literally, with the bills he signed that lessened regulations. Those very regulations would have prevented that crash. But when it comes to something like this, as soon as you come to the first point in a conversation with one of these folks where they rattle off some fact and then you correct them on that fact, because you take the time, we've all had to do it, I don't know, 2-3 dozen times with MAGA folks in our communities. As soon as you correct them on just one fact, pause them and say, so listen, obviously you don't understand. You don't know what's going on. You've been misinformed because you just said something very bold that I just showed you was very wrong. And until you are able to even understand how you were wrong, don't bother people. Conservative. That's your guiding principle from here on out. Stop bothering people, and especially stop bothering little kids. Let's let this family, who I respect the hell out of, finish up.
Talk about abuses and what that is. I mean, she's experienced that pretty much every day where she comes home and she has to ask me, Dad, how come it has to be this way? Is this not right? Is this, every day she has to defend herself. She has to stick up for herself. They talk about courage. This is what courage looks like. They talk about abuse. Well, she's sitting here listening to these words where she's not accepted as who she is. They want to say that she's something that she is not. And when she told me, Dad, this is who I am, And I've seen her whole life. I wasn't shocked. I wasn't surprised. I was like, yes, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. That's who you are. That's who you've always been. You know, when she was little, I bought her cars and all of the stuff that you think that you were supposed to buy them. But as soon as she can choose, she pointed that way. And that's just what it was. There was no confusion. There was no evilness behind it. There was nothing unnatural about it. It was just a child wanting to be a child. It has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with being woke. It has nothing to do with any of this weird stuff. It's
just life. So what can you do? You can go to your local school board meetings. But wait, Jake, say, I don't have kids. That's fine. You live in your community. We all have an obligation to the children of our community to keep them safe. If there's a bear snuffling through town and it climbs into the schoolyard, none of us have to be heroes. None of us have to go wrangle the bear ourselves. But by God, we got to keep the kids away from the bear and call the authorities and get it taken care of. That is what all adults are obligated to do. When there are bored sociopathic conservatives bullying children, because that's all the guts they can find, is to bully little kids because they think we don't care for our little kids. With good reason. We let them get shot up in schools constantly. We need to disabuse them of that notion. Show up to school board meetings. Find the next one in your town. Show up. It'll be a boring-ass 90 minutes. Up to 3 hours. I know, it sucks. But, you're there on watch. In fact, you are listening. You are listening for the bigot in your community who will get up and insist upon bothering children. You yourself go in front of that microphone and tell them to stop bothering children. Stop bothering children. Make sure they know you won't have it. Make sure the school board knows you will vote away anyone who allows people to bother children. It's 45 versus 55%. Show up. That's the only way we lose is if we fail to show up to the fight. So show up. School board meetings in your town. Go there and be on the lookout for bigots. And my God, dress them down properly in front of the microphone. You can do it.